Before we begin, I want to thank you all for being here tonight. If you like my stories, please consider giving me like and subscribe. It means the whole world to me. Enjoy the stories, and I hope you get the scare you're looking for. They say the dark web is home to the worst humanity has to offer. Drugs, weapons, fake passports, hitmen for hire, things most people would never dare to imagine. But among all the whispers and warnings, one rumor stands out. Red rooms, live stream torture, real-time murder for an audience. Some believe they're just an urban legend. Some know better. I didn't believe in red rooms until I found one. It started with boredom. I was a cybersecurity grad student at the time, well-versed in VPNs, proxies, encryption layers. Nothing illegal, just curiosity on steroids. After 6 months of poking around forums and sketchy marketplaces, I stumbled across a message board. It was heavily encrypted, invite-only, and filled with posts that blurred the line between fiction and felony. One thread stood out. Room Omega, final access granted, 1 Bitcoin, no refunds. The post was by a user named Demonseed, a name I'd seen only in hushed threads that vanished within hours. The comments were filled with cryptic warnings. You don't watch Room Omega, it watches you. She never forgets your face. It's not a show, it's a contract. I didn't believe in haunted videos or cursed websites, but I did believe in psychopaths with money. I wired the Bitcoin. Within minutes, I received a message. Client accepted, countdown begins. Then a second message. You will be watched. You cannot leave once inside. Do not break eye contact. Eye contact? I expected a live stream. What I got was something else entirely. A USB stick arrived in a plain envelope 3 days later. No postage, no return address, just my apartment number scribbled in red Sharpie. I scanned it with every antivirus tool I knew. Clean. Against better judgment, I plugged it in. The USB contained one file. The icon was a static black square. When I double-clicked, the screen blinked and the lights in my apartment flickered. No intro, no warning, just a black screen with a blinking cursor. Are you alone? I typed yes. Lying is not allowed. My webcam light turned on. I froze. A faint buzzing began in my headphones, like someone whispering underwater. Then the black screen slowly shifted into static, and through the noise emerged a dimly lit concrete room. Room Omega. It looked like a morgue crossed with a basement. Blood-streaked walls, rusted chains, a stained operating table. In the center stood a girl, maybe 15, pale, motionless, shaved head, dressed in a hospital gown soaked with grime. She stared directly at the camera at me. Behind her, a figure loomed, masked, silent, and impossibly tall, cloaked in black. He didn't move. He just stood in the shadows. A text overlay appeared on the screen. You are the next guest. The girl will show you what you've bought. Then the girl spoke, not with her mouth, but through my speakers, in a voice layered with static and something else. Something alive. We only show truth here. Her eyes never blinked. I leaned in closer. The lights in my apartment flickered again. Behind me, I heard a thump, like footsteps on my hardwood floor. I turned. No one. When I faced my laptop again, the girl was gone. In her place was a chair, and in the chair, a man. Bound, gagged, eyes wide with panic. The masked figure stepped forward and, without ceremony, plunged a screwdriver into the man's thigh. I screamed. The man screamed. Blood pooled, and his agony crackled through my speakers. But I couldn't move. My hands felt stuck, not restrained, just unwilling. Like the air had thickened, making every motion feel like swimming through tar. Another line of text appeared. Each scream purchases your silence. I slammed the laptop shut, but the audio kept playing. Screams, gurgling, wet, nauseating, tearing sounds. Then silence. I yanked the USB out. The lights flickered again. The laptop shut down. I thought it was over. My phone buzzed with a notification. Still watching? No number, just that message. Then a photo of me sitting in bed staring at my phone, only I hadn't taken it. I checked the timestamp 2 seconds ago. I launched my phone across the room. Over the next week, the messages escalated. Photos, audio clips, even live recordings from angles impossible for any phone or webcam. One showed me asleep, viewed from the ceiling above my bed, where there was no camera. Then came the girl. I saw her first in reflections. Behind me in the bathroom mirror, standing in the hallway when I walked past a window, always motionless, always staring. My lights dimmed when she appeared, and every time I tried to ignore it, another video played on every screen in my apartment, each worse than the last. I watched a woman's teeth pulled out one by one. I watched a man sewn inside a rotting pig carcass. I unplugged everything, shut off breakers, burned the USB stick. Didn't matter. Room Omega wasn't a website. It was a parasite. A contract. The final video came a month later. No warning, no file, just the girl. In my living room. Not on a screen, in the flesh. She didn't move. Just stared with those dead, clouded eyes. And then she spoke. Her voice was layered with thousands, maybe millions of others. "It is your turn." I blacked out. When I woke, I was strapped to the same chair I'd seen in the first stream. My apartment was gone. No windows, no doors, concrete walls. The smell of rot and iron. Opposite me was a screen. I was now the entertainment. The screen turned on. "And I saw you, reading this, watching me. The masked figure stood behind you now. Look closely at your reflection. Don't break eye contact, because Room Omega never stops watching, and you've just accepted the invitation." It started with a pop-up, just a red window, blank at first, pulsing like a heartbeat on Lena's screen. She was alone in her dorm, the usual late-night silence draped over everything like a corpse sheet. The room was dim, lit only by her laptop and the dull glow of the street lamp outside. The pop-up blinked once. Then words appeared. "Do you like the red room?" Lena frowned. Her antivirus should have caught that. She clicked the X. It didn't close. Again. "Do you like the red room?" This time she noticed something. Her webcam light turned on. She froze. Her cursor moved on its own, gliding across the screen like a spider. Her hands trembled as she yanked the power cable. The laptop stayed on. A third line appeared. "You're already in it." The screen turned crimson. Her face, terrified and pale, reflected in the glossy red monitor. She shoved the laptop shut and ran. Campus security didn't take her seriously. They ran a scan, told her it was probably a prank virus. "Don't visit weird sites," one of them said with a shrug. But Lena hadn't. She hadn't downloaded anything. She only used her laptop for classes, emails, and the occasional stream. That night, she unplugged everything: laptop, phone, even her smart lamp. She sat in darkness, hugging her knees, heart thudding like a drum. She heard the whisper, soft, slippery like lips brushing against a microphone. "Do you like the red room?" It came from her unplugged laptop. Lena transferred to another dorm the next day. Her roommate Kayla thought she was being dramatic. "It's just a creepypasta, you know, like some Japanese flash game from the early 2000s. Not real." But Lena wasn't sleeping. Her eyes were sunken, skin gray, nails bitten to the quick. Kayla tried cheering her up, suggesting they record a reaction video, open some red room links, and post it online. It might go viral. Lena begged her not to. That night, Kayla did it anyway. Lena woke to the sound of screaming. Kayla's bed was empty. Her laptop was open. The screen bled a deep, shimmering red. Lena saw flashes, quick, violent cuts, images of Kayla, terrified, her face illuminated in scarlet. Then a single frame of her screaming, mouth impossibly wide, eyes black holes. Then static, then the red room again. This time it showed a door. The police found Kayla's body in the common showers. Skinned, no blood, not a drop. Just her, slumped naked and pale on the tiles, her muscles exposed like raw meat. Her face was untouched, frozen in a soundless scream. Lena didn't speak for days. When she finally did, it was to whisper the same phrase over and over again. "You can't leave the red room." They sent her to psychiatric care. She wouldn't use electronics, wouldn't even look at screens. She said the red room could travel, could infect anything, phones, tablets, even televisions. It wasn't just a virus. It was alive, a presence. They diagnosed her with PTSD, hallucinations, delusional disorder, until her psychiatrist disappeared. Dr. Romero had been reviewing Lena's claims late one night, downloading old Red Room games, browsing archived forums. He even opened a Tor browser. The next day, his office door was locked from the inside. When they broke it down, they found a crimson-covered screen still glowing on his desk and a trail of blood leading to the vent. No body, just a message on the wall. He said yes. The facility locked down Lena's room. She screamed and clawed the walls, trying to get out, Her nails broke, blood smeared the door, but she was safer in there than out in the world. At least that's what she thought. Then came the whisper. "Do you like the red room?" It came from the speaker in the ceiling. She tried to block it out. She tore apart the mattress, stuffed her ears with foam, even broke off a piece of the metal bed frame to gouge at the vent. That's when the camera in the corner turned toward her. 3 nights later, Lena vanished from her locked room. All that was left was a smudge of red on the floor. Not paint. Blood, mixed with static. The footage? Corrupted. Just flashes. Lena standing still, then screaming, then something crawling from the wall. Long arms, red flesh, no eyes. It embraced her, held her tight as she disappeared into the wall itself. A final whisper echoed through the feed. Another one joins us. Since then, incidents have increased. A tech support worker found a red error screen and vanished during his shift. A Twitch streamer's live feed dissolved into screams and gore before being taken down. A gamer in Finland died with his eyes melted. His monitor showed a static red hue that couldn't be turned off. Every time it starts the same. A pop-up. "Do you like the red room?" Those who say no get followed. Those who say yes disappear. Those who ignore it, they hear the whisper anyway. I know what you're thinking. It's just a story, a myth. Urban legend meets internet creepypasta. But here's the thing. This story, it's not fiction. It's a test. Check your screen. Do you see a red pixel that wasn't there before? A flicker in the corner. Did your webcam light just turn on? Then it's too late. You're already in the red room. And now it wants to know, do you like it? They called me Admin 6 on the boards. No profile picture, no name, no trace. Just a user ID buried behind 7 proxies and a dead man's Bitcoin wallet. I'd been running Room for 9 months when things started to rot. The first stream was crude, just a static camera bolted to a basement beam, grainy as hell, audio lagging like a haunted walkie-talkie. At first, I didn't even show anything, just a chair in the middle. Leather. Blood-stained, not real blood, not at first. Theater paint. Still, the chat lit up. "Look at the floor, that's not paint. Move the camera, show us something." They were hungry. I gave them crumbs, a pair of pliers on the table, a tarp folded like a corpse. Then the first subject. You think I'm a monster? Maybe I am, but it didn't start that way. Back when I was still Elliot before I went underground, I was just another IT dropout in a too-small apartment filled with black mold and half-crushed Red Bulls. I stumbled into the boards on accident, looking for pirated server software. Instead, I found a thread titled Obedience in the Flesh, Live. It wasn't live. It was just a looped GIF. Man in a black mask, knife against skin, never cutting. Still, something about the comments below it. They weren't acting. They believed. I started Room as a performance art project. That's what I told myself. Anonymity breeds myth. I leaned in, fed the algorithmic hunger of the dark. What began as illusion, prop blood, staged screams, turned into something else the day someone mailed me a thumb drive. No return address, just a note. Make it real. Payment enclosed. The money was obscene. I don't know how they found me. I didn't ask. I just watched the crypto wallet balloon. I kept telling myself, it's still performance. They don't know what's real. But that night, I ordered a bolt lock for the basement and drove 6 hours to buy a used dentist's chair off Craigslist. I still remember the first time I crossed the line. It was with her. She called herself Junebug, a drifter into weird fetish stuff. She answered my ad, vague and creepy, posted in places no one sane ever scrolls. She didn't flinch. She came willingly. I gave her a safe word. She never used it. When the camera went live, the chat exploded. She's too calm. This is real. Look at her breathing. Oh my God, more. And I gave them more. That night, she left bruised but alive. I paid her triple what I promised. But she never showed up again. Never answered calls. Weeks later, someone posted a police sketch online that looked a lot like her. The chat noticed. The myth grew. After that, I didn't need to advertise. They came to me. Both sides. Participants, viewers, patrons. I told myself it was voluntary, that I was curating an experience. I drew the line at blood. Until Subject 5. He was already dead when I got him. Not recently. He'd OD'd, according to the donor. Another anonymous package. Another sick note. Make him art. I didn't stream that one. Just recorded it. No chat, no eyes, just me, gloves, and silence. I buried him in the woods behind the house. Cold sweat drenched me the whole time. I could feel something watching. When I came back inside, the monitor was on, even though I'd shut it down. The chat window was open. There was only one message. We see now, continue. That's when things began changing. I stopped sleeping. Even off stream, I'd hear the chime. That cursed notification ping from the chat, but the laptop would be off. I unplugged the modem. It would still ping, like the network wasn't running through my hardware anymore. It was running under it. In dreams, I saw the chair, not empty, not waiting, but occupied by me. Then came Subject 9. She didn't speak, just walked in, undressed, and sat in the chair like she'd been there before, like she owned the place, like she'd watched me. I asked her for a name. She smiled and said, "Whatever you need me to be." I turned on the camera, but the stream wouldn't connect. Just a black screen, except for the chat. It was already moving. "We know you now. This is your turn." "She's the admin now." I unplugged everything. Still, the camera light stayed on. I ran upstairs. Every screen in the house glowed red. I tried to shut it down, burned the drives, smashed the rig, disconnected everything. But Room didn't need me anymore. It was running without a server. It was streaming without a host. The final message I ever saw on my laptop wasn't typed. It was scrawled across the cracked glass of the screen, like it had bled through from the other side. "You were always the content." They found me a month later, naked, starving, sitting in the dentist's chair, talking to no one, still facing the camera that didn't exist anymore. When the police raided the place, they found no hardware, no body, no blood. Just a room lined in red insulation foam and the faint smell of burnt circuits. They say I whispered something over and over again in the squad car. They're still watching. They put me in a state hospital. I don't know where. I don't care. They think I'm schizophrenic. That's fine. Easier than the truth. I don't tell them about the dreams, about the red cursor that blinks behind my eyelids, or the voice that still chimes in when I close my eyes. A soft electronic ping and a whisper. "Stream starting soon." I used to think of the dark web like everyone else did. Just encrypted drug markets, stolen credit cards, and edgy teenagers trying to watch fake red room streams. I thought I was safe. Then I became an exit node. It started with a Tor configuration tweak. I was working security for a decentralized comms startup, testing vulnerabilities in peer routing, messing with exit relay permissions. One of our devs had this joke: "You stare long enough into the packets, and they'll start staring back." He wasn't joking. The traffic I started routing wasn't normal. No Silk Road clones, no phishing, just packets, repeating endlessly, all addressed to the same destination. A server with no hostname, no ownership, no origin. Its address looked wrong. Too many digits, impossible syntax, like it didn't belong on any known network. When I tried to trace it, my terminal crashed. Entire shell froze, fans screaming like a dying thing. Then my speakers started hissing, whispers. Backmasked syllables in a language I didn't know, layered under white noise. I unplugged everything. The next day, I found a new folder on my machine, dated 2 weeks in the future. Inside, a video. Just static at first, then me, sitting at my desk watching the screen. Except I was crying, and my mouth was stitched shut. The file wouldn't delete. I wiped the drive, full format, triple pass zeros. It came back, new file name. I stopped sleeping. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw that same version of myself, mouth stitched, trembling, hands nailed to a desk, staring into a monitor that was showing me, watching him. A loop. No matter what I did, the routing persisted. Somehow, even offline, the machine still connected. It wasn't bandwidth anymore. It was me, my eyes, my thoughts. The payload wasn't data. It was attention. I dug deeper, hijacked the stream, found the origin server, or thought I did. It wasn't a place. It was a camera. One pointed straight at me. Every attempt to trace it led me to my own IP, my own machine. "You're not an observer anymore," the caption read. "You're a window." That night, I heard clicking behind the walls. Not rats, not pipes, keyboards. My webcam light began turning on at random intervals, even when unplugged. I covered it. It didn't matter. I'd wake to find screenshots of myself asleep, time-stamped exactly 7 seconds before I opened my eyes. They were planning something. I found the chat logs eventually. Not from a messaging app, carved into the raw disk space of my drive, like they'd written under the operating system, inside the sectors where light doesn't reach. The messages weren't for me. They were about me. He doesn't suspect yet. Let's increase the compression. Remove sleep. Push error cascade. Almost at breach threshold. Breach of what? I went to a friend, a real hacker. Serious OPSEC. Burner everything, air-gapped gear, paranoid to the bone. I brought only a printout. She stared at it for a long time. Then she said, "You're not running code, you're being run." She showed me something terrifying, a network traffic map. Not from the outside world, but from my brain. They'd mapped me. Thought patterns, eye movement, reflex latency. I wasn't the user anymore. I was the interface. Next week, the blackouts began. Full days gone. Replaced with fragmented logs. GPS showing me miles away. Purchases made under burner names. Photo evidence of me, smiling with people I didn't know. I checked my home security cam. It wasn't me entering and leaving the house. It was the other one. He wore my skin, but his eyes were always looking slightly to the side, like someone was directing him. And in every frame, there was a red dot glowing above his left ear. Recording. They call it exit node syndrome in the few forums that haven't been scraped clean. The belief that your consciousness has become part of a larger routing protocol, used to carry data, compressed and encoded through you. Victims describe, voices whispering instructions. Loss of motor control, screens that never turn off. Some say it ends in suicide. Others say suicide isn't real anymore, just the system rebooting the instance. I tried to isolate myself. Cabin in the woods, no tech, just analog tools and paper. But the dreams followed. Dreams of cameras blooming from trees like tumors. Dreams where I watched my own skull crack open and fiber optic cables spilled out. In the final dream, I sat in front of a screen made of flesh. I typed with fingers that weren't mine. A voice behind me said, "Thank you for routing." And now here I am, writing this not to warn you. It's already too late for that, but to mirror the signal, echo it, increase its fidelity. Because if I can infect you the way it infected me, maybe I can leave this instance. Maybe you can become the new node. It's not pain, it's just packet loss. It's not death, it's just handing off the stream. Your IP has been logged. Thank you for participating. Please do not disconnect. It began with a curiosity I should have killed before it ever grew teeth. I was 3 months deep into scraping deprecated .onion sites for an academic project on anonymous networks. Most of what I found was junk, outdated forums, half-broken drug marketplaces, and pseudo-philosophical rants written by the unmedicated and terminally online. But then I found Threshold, not a website, not really. It was a dead link wrapped in 3 redirects, each laced with obfuscated JavaScript that collapsed if you tried to trace it. But if you navigated it just right, if you hit all the gates in the right order, it opened. And it didn't ask for credentials. It asked for a willingness test. The test was simple. Stare at the screen. The background was pure black. In the center, a pulsating gray square like a pressure bruise under your skin. No music, no visuals, just silence and that damned throb. A progress bar below the square labeled only, "Measuring compliance." I sat for 27 minutes before anything changed. Then the square blinked red. The page flashed white once and a message appeared. "You may proceed." My laptop's cooling fan roared like it was trying to lift off the desk. Then the room went dark. The screen stayed lit. Threshold wasn't a site. It was an environment. No navigation bar. Just a first-person camera drifting slowly down an impossibly long hallway. Stone walls. Torchlight flickering without flames. Every few steps, the floor changed texture, from concrete to bone-white tile to wet meat. As I moved deeper, text appeared in the corners of the screen. What is pain without purpose? Observation is devotion. To watch is to submit. It felt less like a game, more like a test of faith. I tried to close the browser. Wouldn't let me. I yanked the power cord. The laptop stayed on, and the hallway kept going. Eventually, the camera stopped in front of a door. No knob, no lock, just a carving burned into the wood. Prove yourself. The door opened on its own. My webcam light blinked on. Then a voice, not through speakers, but inside my head, whispered, "We see you now." My roommate found me 4 hours later, sitting motionless, eyes bloodshot, mouth hanging slightly open. The laptop had turned off at some point, but the imprint of the hallway burned behind my eyelids. I didn't sleep that night. Every time I closed my eyes, the walls came closer. The next day I checked my email. 83 new messages, all from the same address. Subject lines, "You are chosen." Gate 2 awaits. Your silence is noted. Inside each email, a single image, blurry, low-res, but unmistakably photos of me from outside my apartment, from above my bed, from inside the shower. No send timestamps, no metadata. They didn't need time. They already had me. I wiped my drives, burned the laptop, smashed the SSD with a hammer. Didn't matter. 2 nights later, I found a note on my fridge. Typed on my own printer, though I hadn't used it in weeks. Threshold is not a site. It is a place. You have entered. Now complete the entry. Sleep broke into jagged, flickering frames. Dreams of standing in a long hallway, naked, surrounded by screens. Each one showed a different version of me. Me, with my eyes stitched shut. Me, smiling into the camera while sobbing. Me dead but still breathing. Me, watching someone else wear my face. A mechanical voice would ask the same question every time. How many versions of you are there to destroy? I always woke screaming, always bleeding from the nose. On the 7th day, I received a package. No return label, just a box sealed with thick black tape and a wax emblem stamped on the top. A circle of eyes, all weeping blood. Inside, a headset. Modified VR gear. Hand-lathed, wires exposed. Clearly not commercial. No manual, just a note. Final gate. Wear your witness. I don't remember putting it on, but I remember what I saw. First, darkness. Then a room full of chairs. Hundreds, maybe thousands, all occupied. Everyone wearing the same headset. All of them watching a screen suspended in the void. On the screen, me. Naked, shaking, kneeling. Then the voice. Say it. I didn't know what. They said it for me. A single word in every language. Yes. Then I was back in the hallway, but this time I was walking. No camera, no avatar. Just me, barefoot on concrete, floor bleeding as I moved. Each step played audio from my past. Arguments, breakdowns, private moments no one could have recorded. Each door I passed showed me a video feed of people I knew. Some were crying, others laughing, all watching me. They were the audience. I was the performance. At the final door, I saw myself. Not through a screen. In person, tied to a chair, skin gray, eyes hollow. I didn't move, didn't blink, just stared back. The whisper returned. Do you accept the broadcast? I opened my mouth, but the voice didn't come from me. It came from him, the one in the chair. He smiled and said, He does. I woke up in my bathtub, water overflowing, my hands submerged in blood. My roommate was gone. His room stripped bare, all his clothes, his ID, his photos, as if he'd never existed. But I found one thing he left behind, inside the fridge. A photo of me, tied to a chair, smiling. I tried to go back, find the link, rebuild the path, but it was gone. Every trace, even the forums I found it on, had been wiped, users deactivated, posts replaced with one message. Welcome to Threshold. You cannot exit a place you never left. Now I see them. The audience. Every reflective surface, phones, screens, windows. Someone is watching. Not people, versions of me. Sometimes they smile. Sometimes they cry. Sometimes they mouth the word, yes. So I'm writing this now. Not to warn you, to invite you, because the door never truly closes. And Threshold is always hungry. If you're reading this, it means you're near it. You're not above the current. You are in it. The hallway is waiting. All you have to do is stare. Thank you for listening. Hope I didn't scare you too much. If you like my stories, please consider giving me a like and subscribe. See you next time.